Hello, everyone, and welcome to a bit of a mini series, I guess. For now, the mini series won't be anything large. But basically, we're going to be recreating Amphibia. A lot of the key moments and key architectural points. And yeah, and it was really fun building this. But Amphibia, if you don't know, is basically a TV show on Disney Plus that I binged watched a ton of. And it's really great. It's made by the same people who made Stranger Things, or not Stranger Things, but Gravity Falls. Apologies. Um, and it's very good, and I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, and it's basically about these basic plot is Anne Boon Choi, who is a human, gets teleported to Wurtwood, which is basically in where there's talking frogs and talking amphibians. So it's a very interesting story, and it has sort of the same vibe as Gravity Falls. But yeah, it was very enjoyable to watch, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna build with it. And it was actually really fun to do this sort of fantasy build. I'm going off a reference picture that was for the when you see the building for the house. There's actually just a reference picture. I'm using that, so that's seen here. And I'll be also making Sprig, which is the companion frog, the side character or the main character. And then Anne, and then also Polly, which is a pollywog. And we might do some more, but we'll see. And I actually do want to do more things in this universe, actually, though. And I think the next part will be finishing the house, because we didn't quite finish it. But yeah. Anyway, this was just recorded on my own. I didn't stream this. But majority of the stuff that I do is actually streaming on Twitch. So if you want to check me out there, you can. I sometimes stream Parkitect, and then you can see what I do early. Like I've been working on Europa and stuff. But all right, getting past all the promo stuff. Let's talk about what I'm doing. Right now I'm working on I was working on the door. The door was already pretty much done, and the door is just made out of shelf planks and some of my shapes from my shape mod, Geometritect. And some of the shapes were the beveled cubes to get that nice sort of rock arch. And the shelf planks were the actual wooden frame, and the doorknob was out of my shapes. But yeah, it was very fun to build, actually. I love this build a lot. And I hope you like it too. And hope this video is enjoyable. I didn't really write a script, so I'm going off just talking. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, we started working on this little farm. And I think what's really cute about this is the fencing is just made out of these cattails, I think was what they're called. The cattail plants. And I think that's really, really cool. And I definitely wanna when we do a second part of this video or for this build, I really wanna sort of expand the area so it's more you can actually see a full environment around it instead of just the house and the characters. But yeah, it is still it was really fun to build. I wasn't able to really think about how I could get cabbage. At least I didn't try, but I just did spheres for cabbage. That is sort of the lowest point. And then I also wasn't able to quite finish the top. I really want to go back and sort of finish it up, but we'll get there. There was something really annoying here was I wasn't able to actually make lily pads on the ground at all, and it was really annoying because they could only be placed in water. And then I realized for my Geometritect mod, I actually have quarter and half circles that can be used to make a lily pad. So that's what I did. Because if you see, like, on the ground in the pictures, there's, like, these, like, lily pads that go along with the grasses. It's kind of like a unique design because it is really a sort of swampy area. The whole, like, build is on top of a swamp. So you get sort of these lily pads that I created, and I think it comes out really nicely. I like it a lot. Um, I think it just fits it. And yeah, I don't know. I like it a lot. I definitely want to add a lot more, sort of grass texture and everything, but I'm sure we'll figure that out. This was also really difficult. The scarecrow. The scarecrow was actually surprisingly difficult. I was not considering how difficult it would be because there aren't that many sort of spiky, hay-looking ends for, like, the end of, like, straw out of a scarecrow. Like, there's not enough small enough pieces for that. And so the piece that I found was a pineapple, which I do find at some point. Um, and it actually works kind of well. It's not perfect by any means, but yeah. And I will say the scarecrow is quite derpy. It's just like a, little derpy dude. But yeah, here's me trying to find just anything that will fit the size of the scarecrow, because the scale is as much as possible to the scale of the peeps in game. I actually like checked to make sure the statue I was using was to the scale. But yeah, I think it came out pretty nicely, the scarecrow. Um, Next was doing a little bit of texture painting. You can see where I have on those stone circles in the front there. There is actually like some legs. I didn't really get started on that, but we'll get to those figures soon. The next thing is I wanted to start working. I wanted to really like detail the rock wall a lot, but I couldn't figure out a way immediately because I didn't want to. I tried placing like actual rocks from the game, just like in a sort of columns, but it looked really weird and I didn't like it. So I went with using the same trick I did for the rock arch, except putting on texturing, and you'll see that later as well. And it looks pretty cool. Honestly, I like it a lot. Um, and then we continue making these sort of like roots. Because this, if you look at the reference pictures, it's actually kind of interesting because the house is just built around the stump. Like the stump comes out the middle and or out the sides as the roots and the top. It's like the house was built at first into the stump and then was built more expanded around more of it with like stones. So it's sort of like a I don't know hobbit hole slash tree stump like mishmash, and I don't know, I really like it. It's really cute. Um and yeah, I do wish that there was a good glowing thing, like a good glowing mushroom type thing, but I couldn't find anything that was actually that good. Um, but yeah. I also really liked using these broomsticks for stems because they're nice and thin, and they also have like sort of, plant knobs sort of like off the stem. I thought that was pretty like I don't know. I think it looked good, in my opinion, at least. Um, but yeah, uh, the reason I'm honestly doing this is because I was like, this would be a great theme for what was it? Oh, the coaster bee competitions. And I was like, that would be a great theme. And then I decided to just like do it and just start building because I really wanted to and I really liked how it looked. And this build took me, I think, about 4 hours, so not super long. But it also wasn't completed, so we'll get there when we complete it. But yeah, honestly, I love the show. It was surprisingly good. I would say I would even dare to say that it might be as good as or even better than Gravity Falls. But yeah, it was really good. I also wasn't able to find really good sort of root pieces. I just used the same like 2 root pieces kind of over and over because I mean it just worked pretty well, honestly. Um, I don't know, I liked it. Um, and you can't really tell that it is like 2 pieces. It is just sort of all over each other. It makes it look like it's sort of together as one, and it's really great. I like it a lot. Going back to while I'm building this window, other series that will be coming out on my channel. I know I've been gone for like literally 2 months. Um, and there are going to be some videos from Europa. Europa is one of my older series that I did for Parkitect. And I've been working on it sort of on my own, and then I was like, you know what, I'll record. So you guys will have missed like a bit. But yeah, it will take a bit. So take a bit to get all of that. And honestly, Europa right now looks amazing. There is a big concern because right now there is a lot of lag and it is not great. It is really not great. I'm running in Europa at like, I don't know, 30 FPS max. And it's not the best playing situation. It doesn't help that there are 60,000 pieces in the park, and probably like 10,000 of those are probably plants that are, highly detailed, like high triangle trees. So it is not great, but I definitely want to keep pushing. And yeah, here I am working on that rock wall, like I said about earlier. And yeah, it was, I don't know, pretty good. I like it a lot. The other thing is, the cattail with the rope around it going into the building, that is, a clothesline. Next time we work on this, I definitely want to try making some clothes out of some shapes, like hanging on it, and then also sort of seal up that window so it actually looks like it's finished. Yeah. And then working on these sort of rock walls once more. I don't know. I really like how these turned out. And yeah, I really like it. Honestly, I also want to do a bunch of other like characters. There's a snail caravan I want to make. There's the whole city of Newtopia, which will be like an insane build because it's very massive, because it's a whole city. But it is very like beautiful art, and I love the sort of picture or the images from the show and everything, and the animation's just beautiful. And it's very Stranger, or I keep thinking Stranger Things. I don't know why. Gravity Falls. It's very Gravity Falls-esque art, and which makes sense because it's pretty much, I assume, it's pretty much the same animators from that over to Gravity Falls, or over to Amphibia. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, definitely check out the show. It is really good. I'm not gonna spoil anything because why would I? And try not to spoil anything if you have watched it in the comments, please. For people who haven't watched it, but yeah. Yeah. Next thing I worked on was getting this post in to sort of reference where I was going to put the roof, and I think I actually do start working on the roof pretty soon. And the roof was pretty difficult. I actually didn't quite finish it at the end because it basically starts low, goes up, slopes back down, and then curves sort of flat, and then it curves back up, and then it stops there. And I only got it to the flat, or curving down, I mean. I didn't get it to the point where it was curving back up, which I need to do, and then once I do that, that part of the roof will be finished. I also didn't quite finish the tree stump as well. I really want to add more texturing in there, and I think that would look a lot better, honestly. But yeah. Alright. Sorry, I did just took a huge yawn. I apologize. Um, but yeah. Um, I did not get around to doing much nighttime lighting, so I probably won't show that at the end of the video. I will show some like daytime shots of it fully finished, so you can look at it. The one thing I didn't do at all in this build was make a back. So there is 0 back, there's only the front. And I definitely want to make a back, so it actually feels, sort of actually finished. So we'll get around to that as well. But yeah. And then I decided to make the cattail taller because it looked kind of weird compared to the scale, at least in the reference pictures. It looks kind of weird being, that sort of short. And yeah. This was one of the most difficult things, is because F2K can be just a little annoying sometimes, is trying to just match it up nicely without it Z-fighting at all, and it's just, perfect, and it's really a nightmare to get it to, like, fully, like, cleanly get in there, you know what I mean? So it was kind of it was a bit of a difficulty working on that. And then getting the rest of the shape wasn't too hard, it was just sort of fitting in that sort of curve. And it's no perfect curve, but it looks pretty good from from your own view. If you actually, like, sit down and look at it, it's definitely not a perfect curve, to what the animation in the show shows, but I still think it is pretty good for what it is. Especially since even in Parkitect, even with everything, we are still, like, limited to a certain extent with pieces. But yeah. And I thought I would also make a gradient. There's a really great website where you can basically choose 2 different colors, and that doesn't matter what the colors are, and it'll just make a gradient in between those colors, and you can also choose how many colors you want in between those 2 colors you're trying to get a gradient of. And I don't remember the exact website name, but I'm sure if you look up, like, gradient creator or something like that, it will come up. And it's been very useful, honestly, for a lot of stuff, including one of my bigger projects in Europa, which is the Norwegian coaster, the Norwegian Giga coaster. I did a gradient with that's like sort of like the Aurora Borealis colors, so the Northern Lights colors, and it's quite beautiful. Honestly, I love it a lot. But yeah. Next, we're continuing on the yellow trim. The yellow trim, again, is a nightmare to do, honestly. And yeah, I hated it. um, I have been actually thinking about making like a full like animation series where I make like sort of things from animations. So like this would be all of the Amphibia, like stuff from the show, and then next I'll do like Owl House, which is another great Disney Plus or Disney animation, made by the people that make Gravity Falls, and then also make Gravity Falls because Gravity Falls is great. And I might even consider making stuff like Phineas and Ferb, or anything like that. Here we are to finally working on a figure. I actually was surprised at how well this came out. Here's a reference picture of what I'm actually trying to recreate of the character. But actually it came out really nicely. I was not expecting it to come out this good. Honestly, like, because I am really terrible at making figures, and it came out pretty nicely. I loved it, how it turned out. It was great. It was a struggle trying to figure out the hair for a while, I will say, but after I figured that out, I think it turned out pretty great. At least in my opinion. And that's all that counts. I do wish there was a sphere that could shrink down to that size. And actually, I just realized there is a sphere, and I should have just used it. Why did I forget about it? Like, I literally saw it and was like, yeah, I should use that. And then I didn't do it. Okay, yeah, I'll do that next time. I actually forgot about that piece. Dang. Here I was trying to get all the right colors from her shirt. She has sort of like a, I think it's like a, I mean, it's a school uniform. She is the only character that keeps her school uniform pretty much like throughout the entire show, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, uh, she basically, like has, I guess, like the four colors. I guess it's like Harry Potter where there's like the four houses. I don't know why a school, public or private, has the four houses. And if so, I wonder what those four houses are. Because whatever it is, it's quite interesting. Um. Anyway, here I am working on the hair. The hair was actually kind of hard to do. Honestly, it was kind of a struggle, and I thought about using strawberries and was like, wait, no, that I think spheres is the way to go. And then I also used, as a suggestion from Jod, to use bananas, which is a piece that I've not used in this sort of weird, not like meant to be used way. Um, and it's kind of a great shape, honestly. It's really underrated. I know that in the Coaster Bee competition for the tracklist, Unit and Coaster Bee made a like a alien creature out of bananas and apples, which was crazy. Definitely check that out. It is really cool. I might throw up a picture if I'm, not lazy. We'll see. But yeah. But yeah, and then throwing in her and the leaves in her hair and the twig. Because I think that's pretty iconic to her. She has like a bunch of stuff in her hair. Because it's just how she like goes around. I actually kind of like it. It's pretty like a cool sort of character, type thing. I don't know if that makes sense at all. But yeah, the hands were difficult, so I just did cylinders because I'm not gonna be able to do hands at that scale, that small. And now that we're done with Anne, at least for the most part, we can start moving on to Sprig. And Sprig is the main character. Anne and Sprig are like the two main characters. There's an argument for both, which is which. And yeah, so Sprig is like a pink frog, and he's a pretty lovable character, and he's pretty cute. I don't think what I did was amazing, but it still works, and I like it. And when it comes to like doing justice, I will say his mouth may look a little weird, but honestly, I love it either way. I still think it's pretty good for what it is. His feet weren't too hard, but at the end of the day, I didn't want to do his hands like crazy detail, like I said for Anne. So I just do cylinders using those shapes, and I don't remember where the cylinders, what pack those cylinders are in, but they're really great because they go really tiny. I like how I'm advertising different shape mod, but honestly, it's kind of great how small those go. The other iconic thing, and this is actually on purpose, is she has one shoe on and then one sock on. So she has like she's lost her shoe, one of her shoes. It's pretty iconic. She like does that all over the place, and so I just did that because, it makes sense. Especially since this is supposed to be like, sort of the intro, sort of picturesque moment. Um, and yeah, I like it a lot, honestly. Um, and then here is Polly. I did not get around to Hop Pop, which is Hopidia plantar, or basically the grandfather of the frog kids. But I did get around to doing Polly and Sprig, and I think those two were the easiest, I would say. I feel like Hopidia will be very difficult, honestly. Um, yeah, but Polly was pretty easy. It was just like a sphere and a bow and some more spheres, and that was basically the whole shape. It was not very difficult at all. Um, it was quite easy. Uh, Now Sprig, on the other hand, is much more difficult than both Anne and like Polly combined. Not that Polly was difficult at all, but I think Sprig was just difficult because it was such like a more organic shape than say Anne. Anne was pretty like stick figurey, if that makes sense. Uh, but I think what I did with it, I think it turns out pretty nicely. Um, but right now he looks like he's in a balloon, and it's a bit crazy. But I figured out at the end, or by the end. So, but yeah, I also honestly love the bricks that are just lying around. I'm not sure why there are lying bricks around, or rocks, I mean. I don't know what you would call like rocks that are used for like building, like for as like bricks style. Like would that is it still like a rock, or is there like a specific name for it, like brick rock, or like I don't know. If anyone has any idea, let me know. And right now his teeth look absolutely insane. Um, it does get fixed, thankfully. And same with the sunglasses. The sunglasses were just there so I can know where the goggles are gonna go about. But yeah. The wizard hat actually came in really good use. I was a little scared that I'd actually have to make his hat, but I think the wizard hat is close enough to what Sprig's hat is that I'm happy with it. I don't think it needs any, you know, actual difference. I think it looks great on him. And it fits what he like looks like and everything. And sort of getting those eyelids. Here's me finally replacing the teeth so they actually look better. And it's still not perfect, but it's the best I can do in this sort of scale. I'd love to see if anyone can like do a better Sprig. I'd be honestly very curious. Because at some point I will have to do like a full body standing Sprig, for other scenes and stuff. But yeah. I would honestly, I'm very surprised, and I was talking to someone about this, but I was honestly really surprised that Disney hasn't really captured any of their sort of new animations or new shows like they did with like the whole like Disney XD era, or the Disney Channel era, where you had all those shows like Hannah Montana. I think I never watched any of them. Um, but like even Phineas and Ferb, they did actually do Phineas and Ferb, I guess at Epcot, but not anything to like an actual ride or anything like that. And I think like a Gravity Falls ride, um, or even like an Amphibia like area or Owl House area would just be so cool. I'd honestly love to see that, and I'm surprised that Disney hasn't done it yet. I guess they're more focused on sort of the Marvel aspect of the game. Now, the next thing is, uh, the next part is trying to ruin this roof up a bit and roughing it up because it is pretty rough in the picture. This definitely wasn't the easiest thing to do, especially because of like the way just like everything you have to get it so like nicely in, and it was just very difficult to get it, perfectly where I wanted it. Now the next thing is, for the last part of this, I kind of went a little bit lower detail because I was like, I don't know, and I'm gonna come back to this and detail it some more. But this is basically sort of the tree trunk, and the tree trunk actually doesn't come out this far. This was actually a mistake that I did. I either want to fix it, or either the pink roof will fix that, because the pink roof will just come up higher. But I definitely want to fix it because it is not, at least super true to what the show has. But I would love to make something that, honestly, I am just building this off as inspiration, heavy inspiration, but I still think it looks pretty great. I think the last thing that I am really proud of for this part is really the telescope at the top. There's this weird, like, sort of telescope, like, massive telescope at the top of the building, that I think in the intro, I might be incorrect, but I think in the intro, like, Sprig looks at it and then falls down into Anne's hair. I don't remember exactly, or he might have his own, but I don't know why a farming house has a telescope. Like, do farmers have that? Like, I know it's a fantasy build. Like, I know this is, like, not real. But, like, in the sense, like, do farmers actually have telescopes that they use to tell, like, when they need to harvest plants? Like, is that a thing in real world? Or is that just, like, they just have a telescope? Because why not? I'm honestly curious. If anyone knows, like, what farmers would use a telescope for, then let me know. I'm definitely curious. Um, the I definitely didn't notice at the time, but the what are they called? The sort of like the doors on a window, whatever those things are called. Not frames. It's like shutters. That's what it's called. The shutters. I didn't notice that there were like 400 right there. So I fixed that later on. Um, and I didn't actually notice this, but I messed up as well as this root, or the sort of like branch off a stump, comes out actually the wrong way. It comes from the top and then goes downward, and it actually like went up, which was incorrect. So I will definitely be fixing that. Um, but this is sort of like their iconic little like Plantar Farm sign, and I really liked it. It's really cute. Um, and the reason I'm able to get such close colors is I basically had the image open in Photoshop, and then I would basically, I drop the colors, grab the hex code, and throw it in here, and be able to get sort of the right colors. And really, a lot of the colors are pretty like dim. Surprisingly, like it's it's not like bright colors. They're very like sort of dark colors, which is kind of interesting. I didn't quite realize how like sort of dark it was. Um, I don't know. I thought it was really interesting how dark it was. Um, and here we are working on the building that the telescope comes out of. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's like an observation hut or what. Um, and this really is just like a very basic front facade. Uh, just so it just looks nice from one angle. And I will definitely be fixing that so that you cannot, or there will be a back to this whole thing at some point. That is the plan, at least. But I really did enjoy building this. It was a great build. There's I know I sound like pretty much an Amphibia fanboy, but to be fair, this was like literally the same for like Gravity Falls. It's honestly, Gravity Falls gave me hope that like actually like Disney animation can be really good. For like even like sort of that style. Um, like what I mean by that is like it's still like sort of that drawing animation, the old sort of Disney animation is still sort of alive, and I love that. I wish that more Disney films would break away from the, sort of not CGI, but the like more realistic looking thing. I sort of miss the old, animation style. I think it was really beautiful. Um, but yeah, I think it was pretty great. And yeah, here's the telescope. Telescope I just made like a little holder with like a Y out of like a little letter, and it works pretty well. And that is pretty much it. The rest is just putting down some bushes, and I'm putting a bit more of the trunk so it feels more complete. And then I think that's it. So I guess the shots you're gonna see in a bit are of what it looks like at the end. So I appreciate you guys for watching. If you want to, you can join my Discord and get like announcements when I go live, when I want to stream Parkitect or anything like that. And yeah, more videos will be coming out soon. But I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys whenever the next video is. Appreciate it. Peace out.